Hello everyone, this is Samir. Welcome back to our channel EasyGate. In the previous lecture, we already discussed the independent sources as well as problems related to the independent sources. Now, in this video, we will try to discuss the dependent sources, KCL and KVL. Right? Now, look at the dependent sources which are also called as control sources. The dependent sources which are also called as control sources. Now, a question arises, why we need these control sources or dependent sources? Answer for that question: to represent the devices electrically on paper, we need these control sources, right? To represent the devices electrically on paper, we need these control sources. So, any active device like BJT, JFET, MOSFET, operational amplifier can be electrically represented on paper with the help of dependent sources along with the junction resistances and junction capacitances, right? So basically we will represent the two terminal or two or three junctional devices by using these dependent sources. So we are having four different types of dependent sources. Okay, four different types of dependent sources. In that, first one is voltage controlled voltage source. This is a voltage control voltage source. We can represent like this. Okay, this is the voltage controlled voltage source. Okay, this is the voltage control current source. It is a current source, but it is controlled by voltage. Okay, now look at this. This is the current controlled voltage source. Okay, this is a voltage source which is controlled by current. This is a voltage source which is controlled by current. Now look at this. This is the current source and which is controlled by current. That means it will become current control current source. Okay, this is current control current source, right? I hope you got the idea about these dependent sources, right? So what is this non-linear dependent source? Okay, so what is this non-linear dependent source? Okay, this is also a dependent source, this is also a dependent source, but it does not follow the Ohm's law. It does not follow the Ohm's law. Okay, that means it is having some relation. Okay, it is having some relation. We are taking that relation as I square. Okay, it does not follow the Ohm's law, is called as non-linear device. So it is a voltage source. It is a voltage source, that means, but it is controlled by current, so it will become non-linear current controlled voltage source. It will become non-linear current controlled voltage source. Okay, okay, this much is enough for the dependent sources. Okay, this much is enough for the dependent sources. Now we will look at the KCL. Now we will be looking at the KCL and KVL, which are called as Kirchhoff laws. Okay, look at the Kirchhoff laws. Basically, we are having two types of Kirchhoff laws. In that, first one is Kirchhoff current law. First one is Kirchhoff current law, and the second one is Kirchhoff voltage law. Okay, second one is Kirchhoff voltage law. Now, look at the first one, that is also called as KCL. We'll directly call it as KCL, which is nothing but Kirchhoff current law, right? So, before going to it, a simple node means a node which is connected between the two branches. Okay, principal node means where we are having a node where we are having a more than two branches is called as principal node. Okay, now come to the KCL. Now come to the KCL, which is nothing but Kirchhoff current law, right? So definition, note down the definition. In a lumped electric circuit, for any of its nodes, for any of its node, and at any time, t, the algebraic sum of branch currents at any node equal to 0. Okay, the algebraic sum of branch currents at any node equal to 0. Okay, that means if we take any node, look at this diagram, this is a principal node. because we are having more than two branches. Okay, more than two branches, that means it will become a principal node, right? In this you can see that the current I1 is entering into this node, and current I2 is also entering into this node, and I3 is leaving from this node, I4 is leaving from this node, I5 also leaving from this node. So what is mean by this KCL? So we will understand this in a simple manner, right? The algebraic sum of these currents will become 0. At this particular node, the algebraic sum of these all currents will become 0. That is nothing but our KCL. So here I am taking this entering current as minus. So I1 will become minus I1, I2 will become minus I2, and I am considering the outgoing currents as positive. I will always consider whatever the currents enter into the node as minus. That means I will consider those currents as negative currents, and whatever the current leaving from the node as positive, right? So that we will get this current is entering into the node, that means minus I1. This current is also entering into this node, that means minus I2. I3 is leaving from this node, so plus I3. I4 also leaving from this node, so plus I4. I5 is also leaving from this node, that means we will get plus I5. So algebraic sum of these currents will become 0. This is our KCL, right? So if I arrange this equation in a proper manner, we will get I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4 plus I5. So by looking at this, what we can conclude that sum of entering currents, we will conclude that the sum of entering currents is equal to the sum of leaving currents, right? By looking at this equation, we can consider the sum of entering currents is equal to the sum of leaving currents, right? Means that means how much current enters into this node, that much current will leave, should leave from this node. Okay, how much current enter into this node, that much current should leave from this node. That is nothing but our KCL. So it is also called as charge conservation equation or conservation of charge equation, right? So why it is called as charge conservation equation means we can also look at that reason. So here I1 is also considered as dq1 by dt, because current means what? Differentiation of charge with respect to time, so that I1 will become dq1 divided by dt. Similarly I2 will become dq2 divided by dt. Similarly you can consider this term as this term. Okay, that means I3 will become dq3 divided by dt, and I4 will become dq4 divided by dt, and I5 will become dq5 divided by dt. If I take dt common, or if I cancel out the dt from this equation, both sides, we will get q1 plus q2 is equal to q3 plus q4 plus q5. That means the entering charge, the sum of the entering charge is equal to the sum of leaving charge. Okay, the sum of entering charge is equal to the sum of leaving charge, which is also called as conservation of charge equation. Okay, KCL is also called as conservation of charge equation, right? This is about KCL. Okay, this is about KCL. Now we will look at the KVL, which is nothing but Kirchhoff voltage law. Kirchhoff voltage law. Note down the definition for KVL. Note down the definition for KVL. It is defined as, okay, it is defined in a loop or mesh. It is defined in a loop or mesh. That means it is defined in a closed path, a lumped electric circuit for any of its loop at any time. The algebraic sum of branch voltages around the loop is equal to 0. Okay, it is defined in a closed path, that means a lumped electric circuit for any of its loop at any time. The algebraic sum of branch voltages around the loop is equal to 0. That means if we take in generally we can say that if we take this circuit, the algebraic sum of all the voltages, in this particular loop will become 0. Okay, that is our KVL. If I take this now look at this circuit. If I take this circuit, okay, I am having a resistance R and inductance L, capacitance as C in the circuit, which is connected to the a voltage source V, right? So the voltage value of this voltage source is V, and the voltage across this resistance as VR, and the voltage across this inductance as VL, and voltage across this capacitance I am considering it as VC. Okay, if I apply KVL, in this loop, we will get minus V plus VR plus VL plus VC. Okay, KVL means what? The algebraic sum of all these voltages. That means we need to add these 4 voltages, and that will become 0. So if I arrange this equation in a proper manner, we will get V is equal to VR plus VL plus VC, right? We will get V is equal to VR plus VL plus VC, right? So this KVL is also called as energy conservation equation. The KVL is also called as energy conservation equation. So look at the reason for that. We can also call this voltage as energy per charge. V is nothing but W by Q. So W by Q, I am considering it as V. So VR will become WR by Q plus VL will become WL by Q, VC will become WC by Q. Okay, if I cancel out the Q on both sides, we will get W is equal to VR plus VL plus, we will get W is equal to WR plus WL plus WC. Okay, we will get W is equal to WR plus WL plus WC, right? This is nothing but the total energy, and this is nothing but the energy of resistance, energy of the inductance, energy of the capacitance. The sum of all these passive elements energy is equal to the total energy. So it is also called as energy conservation equation. KVL is also called as energy conservation equation. Now we will try to see the differences between the KCL and KVL and Ohm's law. Okay, now that means we need to look at the differences between the Kirchhoff laws and the Ohm's law. Okay, we will try to see the difference between the Kirchhoff laws and Ohm's law. Okay, now we will try to see the difference between the Kirchhoff laws and Ohm's law. The first difference is Kirchhoff laws are independent of temperature. But Ohm's law is dependent on temperature. Here the temperature must and should constant. Ohm's law is dependent on temperature. That means here the temperature must and should constant. That is Ohm's law condition. Now look at the second difference in independent of nature. Okay, that means it is the independent of element nature. Whatever the element you can take, you can apply the KCL and KVL to that particular element, right? But the Ohm's law is applicable only for the linear and bilateral elements. Okay, the Ohm's law is only applicable for the linear and bilateral elements. That means it is dependent on the nature of the element. Nature, right? Now look at the third difference. It is applicable for only lumped electrical circuits. The Kirchhoff laws are applicable for lumped electric circuit, and these are not applicable for the distributive circuits. Kirchhoff laws are not applicable for the distributive circuit. But here the major advantage of Ohm's law is the Ohm's law is applicable for the both lumped as well as distributive circuits. Ohm's law is applicable for lumped and as well as distributive circuit. Okay. So here you can see that another points for Ohm's law is nothing but for Ohm's law the active sources are not applicable. The Ohm's law is not held by the active elements. Okay, that means the voltage source and current source cannot hold this Ohm's law because their characteristics are non-linear. As we discussed in the characteristics of voltage source and current source, which are not linear. That's why Ohm's law is not applicable for the voltage source and current source. Okay, active elements Ohm's law is not applicable, right? I hope you all learned about the KCL, KVL. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Any doubt you can comment below. Okay, so like the video, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you.